Hello everyone, Keren from tuppencecoloured.co.uk. Thank you for joining me. Today's project is another one of these little pop-up and collapsing boxes that are still very, very popular. And I thought I'd show you how I make mine. And also I thought I'd share a tip with you for colouring your glitter card. So if you'd like to stick with me, then I'll show you how I did it. I have a piece of basic black cardstock and I've cut it to 10.5 inches by 5 inches because I want this to fit in a 5x5 envelope. So this is going to be actually quite a petite little popping box, and I'm going to score at 2.5 inches and at 5 inches and at 7.5 inches, and then I'm going to score at 10 inches. Carried away there. Right, now I'm going to turn it round and I'm going to score at the 2.5 inch mark, but I'm not going to go all the way to the bottom of the card. I'm going to go down as far as that last but one score line, and I'm going to score again. It's with 2.5 inches. Okay, and I'm just going to carry on just beyond there because I don't need that bit. Right, so that's done the scoring. So now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut up as far as the score line so that I get 3 free panels along here, and the fourth one is going to be the bit that stands up at the back. Now it's not easy to see on black card, but it will all become apparent. So with my scissors very carefully, and I believe I've mentioned before that I'm not the most comfortable person in the world in cutting straight, but you know what, we'll give it a try, we'll give it a go. And then I'm going to cut away on this edge here, just snip in that corner as well. Super nice. Okay, so now I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm going to fold over and burnish those edges, and I'm just going to fold that bit in, and I've got my fast fuse here. Get that straight because that's going to be making your head go wobbly, and I'm going to just apply a little bit of fast fuse and check off. You do need, because you're doing card to card, you do need something that's got a little bit of a little bit of a heavier adhesive to it. So there's the basis of my box, and I'm going to decorate it before we go any further. So I've got this long panel at the back, and it probably would have been easier if I decorated it before I stuck it together, but hey ho. This is designer series paper in, I think it's Bermuda beige. It's from the Brights collection anyway, and I've cut it to just a quarter of an inch smaller in, half an inch smaller in each dimension. Sorry, quarter of an inch smaller, I was right the first time. So this piece is 4 3/4 by 2 1/4. 2 1/4. Can't do sums. I wasn't very good at maths in school. Okay, so there's my back piece on. So now these pieces are going to go on the front panels, and these are 2 1/4 inch squares. So making sure that I apply the snail to the correct side of the paper, because that's been known to go horribly wrong as well. Right. These snail, tape runner, all these kinds, they are just so very convenient. There we are. That's pretty. And a third one here. We don't need a fourth one because that's at the back. And when we write our greeting, we'll probably write it on that side. Make sure they're all going in the same direction. Okay. So there's the basis of the box. So we need now to put the pieces inside which are going to hold the decorative elements. So let's put that on one side. Let's bring back the scoreboard. Which way around does it go? It goes that way. Sorry about bumping the tripod there. Right, when you cut these out of when you cut this out of A4 paper or 11 by 8, you will have a good bit left over, and from the bits that left over I cut a strip that was about 3/4 of an inch, half an inch long. Measurement isn't critical in that dimension, but it does need to be 3 inches long. Because that's 2.5 by 2.5, we need an extra half an inch, because we're going to make the little struts that it sits on the inside. So right up against the edge, and we're going to score at 1/4 of an inch and 2 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to do them on all of them, so that I've got a little 1/4 of an inch fold over. I can go. Right, so now I've got a little strip with a score at each end, and I'm going to score them in a Z fold so that one is facing that way and one is facing that way. And again, one is facing that way and one is facing that way. Actually, I probably would have done better if I'd made these a little bit longer, just half an inch longer, so that they were 3.5 inches, because that would have given me a bit more, you know, a bit more to work with. But you know what, it is what it is. We'll go from there. So these are now going to slot inside there, and they're going to be stuck with wet glue. And it's quite important that it is wet glue. It's also quite important, I should have mentioned, that we are facing this way, because that will help when you come to collapse. When you come to collapse the card, the fact that one is pointing that way and one is pointing that way will make it that much easier to collapse the card. So I'm going to put a bit of wet glue on there, and I'm going to pause the recording now, because we really do need to let that have some time to set properly. So I'll see you on the other side. I've die cut and punched out some star shapes. I've cut them out of the diamond glitter paper, and I've also cut some out of the silver foil as well. I want a variety of colours. I want some of them to be the turquoisey blue colour that's the main colour in the card. So I've taken some of the Stampin' ink, which is the ink pad refill in the Coastal Cabana colour. You could have used any of the the colours that suits you, and some of this stuff, which is rubbing alcohol or surgical spirit. You could even use vodka, but that would be a shocking waste, so we won't go there. And I've mixed them up in a spritzer, just a little bit of the rubbing alcohol and a few drops of the ink, and I want to make sure that this is pointing in the right direction, because otherwise I will spray myself. And I just sprayed. Now the reason why I used alcohol instead of water is that it dries that much quicker, and it won't over wet the backing of the card. So gave that a light spritzing, left it to dry, and came out something like this, which I've stuck onto a piece of window sheet. Just a little scrap that was left over. You could use packaging material, you could use whatever you had. So did a few of those, put them on one side to dry, and then we moved on to the next step. Okay, so we're back, everything's coloured, everything's stuck down. We just need now to assemble the embellishments. While I was off camera, I decided that I was going to go ahead and put some panels of DSP on the bottom part of the box as well. It's the same DSP as I've used for the other panels. It's just simply the other side of it. And that's one of the things I love about Stampin' Up, is the way that everything just coordinates and works so well together. So I've stuck my die cut and stuck my my stars onto bits of window strip. Now I used a different glue. I didn't use Tombow. I used this one, Beacon 3-in-1, which is probably one of the best craft glues of the, how can I say, the smelly kind. You know, you wouldn't give this to children, not without supervision. It does have a bit of a smell to it, and it is flammable. But if you want a quick grab, which in this case I do, it's a very, very good glue. You know, Tombow would work, but it would just take a bit longer. Right. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to start assembling my my stars. Now, what I want to bear in mind is that it's okay for me to move into the right, towards the right hand side of my card, but not right hand side and left hand side. I could go left hand side, you know, I can go that way or I can go that way, but I don't want to have things shooting out in both directions like that, if you see what I mean, because that will make it impossible to fit the card in a 5x5 envelope, and you know, that's what I've sized the whole thing for. So we're just going to start with my big one at the back. So I've got my 3-in-1 glue ready, and I'm going to apply it with a cocktail stick, because I find that for me, see, it does string a bit, this one. For me, that is probably the best way, and I'm going to put a bit of it over there, and going to decide, and I'm probably going to have to trim off my window strip a bit, because that's going to stick out. It might stick out at the bottom, because I've cut these strips quite long. Just snip that way. Okay. So I'm working from the back forward. Come on, glue, out you come. This time I should put that bit of glue. I know it's very hard to see window strip. I've got a bit of wax paper. That's the word. That's the word I'm looking for. Got a bit of wax paper at the. I want that in front of that. Yeah. Got a bit of wax paper to the side of me, so that. A bit of wax paper to the side of me, so that when I put my cocktail stick down, I can't think. Sorry if I go a bit quiet, because I'm trying to stick these down where I want them at the same time. Okay. Yes. Okay. I'm trying to work so that it will close up nicely. So put the glue on the back of this one, and now you can put as many or as few. So that one's kind of standing quite upright. Move him down a little bit, yes, so that he's not. Yeah, and this bit is I'll probably speed this bit up from here on in, so that you don't have to listen to me muttering to myself. Right, so project's nearly finished. All the stars are glued in place, and I can still fit it into a 5x5 envelope. It just needs sentiment, a couple of finishing touches. So I've used this sentiment from this stamp set here, which is called Simply Wonderful, and it's another one of the stamp sets that you can earn when you purchase from Stampin' Up an order of £45 or more celebration, which is running until the 31st of March 2015. I actually did it for another project, and then I decided no, it didn't work on that project, but as you know, crafters never waste anything. So I've stamped it in it's stamped in basic grey ink, cut out with the large oval punch and mounted onto a piece of the silver foil, which I've cut with the scallop oval punch. And I've got one of my little stars that I coloured left over, so I'm going to put that. Could use the glue dots, probably would have been better knowing my record with glue, but where do I want it? Let's put it there. Let's put it just slightly off centre, and now I'm going to stick it on here. Now I need to be careful that, because I want to make sure that yes, it will close. Tap off the excess glue there. Good job, Tombow Dries Clear. So I'm going to make sure that I only put the glue on this part. Okay, that's on the bottom, so that it will fold over. And let's line that up so that it folds in nicely. And that's it. That's the card. These are very, very popular at the moment, and I think that's a nice one to as a celebration, to wish somebody, you know, congratulations. It's a lovely little card. So thank you much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you want to visit my blog, I'm Keren at tuppencecoloured.co.uk. No, I'm not. The blog is tuppencecoloured.co.uk. I'm Keren at tuppencecoloured.co.uk if you want to email me. Thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me again soon. Goodbye now.